I'm Nina Berman. I'm a documentary photographer. I've been doing it for a long time. This is a photo of Marine Sergeant Ty Siegel and his fiancée, Renee Klein, on the morning of their wedding in Illinois in October 2006. Ty had been seriously wounded by a car bomb while serving in Iraq on his second tour, and when he returned, he spent 18 months in surgery and recovery. During those 18 months, Renee, who was his high school sweetheart, helped keep him alive. Before meeting them, I had spent the prior 3 years photographing severely wounded Iraq veterans. I did a book called Purple Hearts, and I went on a tour with a young amputee to high schools, colleges, community spaces. I was obsessed with getting this story out in front and showing that there was a deep and lasting human cost of war. And so in 2006, People magazine asked me to follow this couple on and off for a few months, and I jumped at the chance thinking, great mass market audience. Of course, the magazine never published this picture. Their narrative was more love conquers all, happy ending kind of story. I saw something else. I saw at this moment a shell-shocked couple, made even more disturbing in my eyes because it was a wedding picture, and wedding portraiture is often hyper-idealized, and the perfect face, the perfect embrace, the shiny white teeth, the light, and this was not that. These two appeared traumatized to me, and their future was uncertain. And so I take this picture, and no one sees it, and a few months later, I submitted it to World Press Photo, along with one other picture from the series, and this picture wins first place in portraiture, and then a lot of people start to see it. And I'm getting calls from Australia, the UK, Germany, Belgium, Japan. Everyone wants the Ty Renee story, and the attention took on a kind of media fetish frenzy that I didn't like. And I pulled the picture back, and I told the family not to talk to most of the press. And I told my photo reps that the picture couldn't be published without my prior approval, and I demanded to see any text that went with the picture, including the headline. And I nixed a lot of media requests, including one from Donald Trump. And yes, the Donald himself phoned me while I was in a taxi cab one day. First it was his secretary asking to use the picture for his new book, and when I told her no, she put him on the phone, and he tried to convince me to let him use the picture for his book, and I told him no, and he said, why not? And I said, well, then I couldn't control the picture, and I wouldn't be able to, influence the narrative. He hung up the phone, and my feeling was if I had given it to him or if I let the picture out too much, it would lose its power and it'd become kind of a crass display for manipulators and idiots. So, thank you. So instead, I started selectively introducing it in exhibitions, sometimes alone, sometimes as part of showing it with my earlier work, Purple Hearts, and it was in group exhibitions, and then to my surprise in 2010, this picture and the rest of the series was shown at the Whitney Biennial that year, and it got attention that I appreciated. But not all my efforts worked. One day I get an email, and new slide, from a PhD student in Paris who was asking me to comment on how I displayed this picture at the Prague National Gallery or some major museum in Prague. Well, I'd never seen this, and so it turned out that some unnamed artist took my picture and cut out Renee's face and made this caption, and I felt completely violated. I felt responsible for the couple's grief, and I started calling curators I know. I started calling English language press in Prague. I started calling friends, how can this happen? Who are these people? Who's responsible? They need to remove it, and I got nowhere. Okay, so my gut reaction was to make this picture invisible, and I started to hide it as best I could. I didn't tell the family about this. I had visited Ty again. Him and Renee had long since divorced, but I'd visited Ty again to photograph him. I kept in touch with his mom. We became kind of close, and I didn't want them to know. I thought it would really hurt them deeply. And then the picture found its way on Facebook. This was 2012. Some kid, and I was told he's the son of a famous rapper, but I don't even know if it's a real person, put this picture on his page, and he got like nearly 500,000 likes in about a day or two. And I saw this, and on his page, he's bragging about what a great lover he is, and his girlfriends, and yeah, I was mortified. I mean, I was writing Facebook like every 3 seconds, you know, take this down, this is a copyright violation, who is this kid? I started looking who his friends were, you know, and then I started freaking out and looking at other Facebook usages of my pictures and found some weird stuff that maybe kind of bothered me less, but I started at that moment to understand that the picture has an enormous viral potential, and it kind of frightened me. 2012, end of 2012, Ty Ziegel, the subject, died of a heroin and alcohol overdose. And so when I would think of that picture and look at that picture, it had a whole nother level of sadness to me. And then this happened. This is some site on Facebook called Cute Relationships. I don't know if this is a computer or a bot or a human, or I'm not sure what it was, but they put up this picture with a story that you're supposed to, like, hey, I'm pregnant, but guy, it wasn't you, right? And there was this whole sort of storyline about, you know, sort of challenging his masculinity, and once again, I kind of freaked out and was watching this build. I mean, this is 1.33 million people in the space of a day or two, and then all the shares, and I started to follow the shares, and you know, you kind of go down a rabbit hole that way. Next slide. And so all I could do, kind of lamely, was try and redirect the conversation by inserting myself in the comments and trying to bring the picture back to its proper place. And so it's a very, next picture, it's a very strange thing to have fought really hard in my career to make a story known about a subject that people were trying to hide, which is the human cost of war, and then feeling that I need to keep this picture, which I know is a very powerful picture, under wraps, because for me the viral experience was very crass. Thank you.